Hey everyone, it is Dr. Richardson and welcome to POL211 International Relations, and I am so glad and excited to see you guys in this class for this term. We are coming to the end of Module 1. Module 1 is basically your historical aspect of IR. We call international relations IR in the poli-sci world. It is what I call the point before you get catapulted off into IR, into what it means to work with, global environments and global economies and global financial institutions and global treaties and all that kind of good global stuff. So it's really interesting. If you ever think for a million years that you wonder how our United States Congress actually makes any decisions whatsoever and actually gets anything signed and approved, let me tell you, when you start really, if you were to take an international relations course that is higher level, college level than this course, like way up, like into the 400 or even into graduate school, you will seriously wonder how anything in this world ever gets put together. It is amazing. Whether you're talking about courts or you're talking about, you're talking about like the African Union or the European Union. We got Brexit that's trying to wrap itself up over there. Regardless of what the situation is, there is just so much going on in this world, and everything that we say and everything that we do has an international component to it. If anybody has done any traveling around the world in recent times, you will know that we are the most watched nation in the world. People all over the world, when we go to Kenya, we have a home in Kenya, and when we go to Haiti and on our mission trips and stuff, and we just go, I go all over the place. But when we go, people are like, hey, how's your government doing? Or, hey, House President, whichever president is in office at the time. Hey, what do you think of him? And so, and whenever you're overseas, this is a tidbit, whenever you're overseas and anybody asks you, hey, what do you think of your president? That's a trap. So I'm just telling you, tread lightly, regardless of what your political beliefs are, okay? So it's very interesting to see how that the rest of the world watches what we do. The United States has become an anchor for the rest of the world, mainly because you've got tariffs, you've got imports and exports going on, global economies, you've got global environmental systems. Climate change is still a hot ticket item over there, just as much as HIV, AIDS, and immigration, those type of things. So these are things that you are going to be looking at. And like I said, this first module, not that it's boring, but it's the historical part before you get catapulted into some really interesting stuff. Please understand that this course is a foundation course. It is basically you're buttering the bottom of the pan. You're ready to cook. This is the bottom of the pan. You're just going to be thrown things and introduce things in that manner. So you are going to get a buffet of all different types of things that could possibly occur in international relations. So consider it your intro class to IR. Okay. One of the things too is you're going to be looking at the impacts of the Cold War. The Cold War, there was rumbles here a few years ago that we might be going into a second Cold War era and stuff, and that's pretty much has been a wash. That's pretty much, not even being discussed anymore. We are way, way past that. The global economy is really starting to pick up. Jobs here in the States, jobs are happening around the world. If you watch the stock markets worldwide, it's really starting to pick up. And it's not, and every now and then you'll see a dip in the Dow or you'll see a dip in the yen or something. But that's to happen. If anybody takes an economics class, you know that economics, that, micro and macroeconomics, that's the lifehood. That's the way, that's the cycle of life when it comes to the global economy. Same thing happens in your own personal checking accounts. Some months are good and some months are bad. Some months are worse than others. It just happens that way. Well, same thing from a global perspective. So we'll be looking at things of that magnitude. You'll also be looking at the collapse of the Soviet Union in your Module 1 reading. These two, with the Cold War and the collapse of the Soviet Union, you are talking about two massive undertakings that took place in this world that redefined how the globe, how all these nations came together. And, no matter how much our countries, our nations, or if you're overseas, they're called states, okay, that how they all come together in times of need. And everybody's trying to work for towards the same goal or similar goals. We all just take different roads to get there. Same thing happens with our own economy and our own government. We all have good intentions, but you know what the saying is. So, it just, like I said, it makes you wonder how we get anything accomplished, whether it's here in the States or around the world. Okay, so those are things that you are definitely going to be looking at. You have some really interesting like articles, and there's another PDF that was in your Module 1. There's also a video. Take advantage of those. And they will pertain to your paper, your milestones. So now I'm going to jump to your projects. You have one final project, and it is broken up into milestones. Your final project, as with any other course with Southern New Hampshire, is due in Module 7. But you got 3 milestones that lead up to it. Your milestones, you may not be writing about the Cold War, and you may not be writing about the Soviet Union, the fall of it, but you're going to look at the elements that led to that massive event. You're going to look at the elements that trended, that moved the world forward into its way of thinking, its mechanisms, whether there was import and export problems, whether, there was immigration issues, whether there was healthcare issues, whatever it might be. You're going to look at the trends when it comes to that. Okay, so please make sure that as you're reading it, parts of it's going to pertain to your paper, but it's going to be elements of it. That's going to be part of your argument. It's not going to be your paper. It's going to be part of your argument. Whether you are in MLA or APA writing, I highly suggest doing APA. You're in college. APA is what everybody does. So, and I am the perfect one to help you do that. I have been known as the APA Nazi, but I'm going to show you how to write a paper. And if some of you have already had me before in other courses, and I have not changed, and I'm not going to change. So there's a reason why I am going to lay everything out for you. You're going to see the announcements. I'm going to break it down Monday through Friday. I will break it down as to what needs to be in your paper, how it needs to be. And I'm serious when I say that. If I say copy and paste it into a Word document and fill it out, that is exactly what I mean. And I'm going to lead you through this process. You may get frustrated, but I need you to get used to writing a research paper because it's all about communication. Those headings are what keeps everything compartmentalized. And if I can fly through your paper, then it's an A paper. But if you don't put your headings in your paper, and I give you your headings, by the way, and your grading rubric gives you your headings, so you already know what your paper is going to be about. Print the grading rubric. It lists everything you need for each milestone. You need to print it. You can save it to your desktop, but print it and put it in a binder that you're working out of. It is going to be your meal ticket. It is going to make your life so much easier because I'm going to tell you, look at the rubric. Look at the rubric. So go ahead and just print that puppy off. Print a couple of them off. Don't care. Just get it done and then go through it section by section, okay? I go off that grading rubric. You're graded from it, obviously. So print it and keep it. I always say print a couple copies just in case. One that you can just totally just mark up and make it yours, which is the fun part, okay? Nothing like highlighting and circling and making notes. All right. So make sure that you do all that. And in the announcements, I will actually have it laid out to you section by section as to what needs to be in there and what it entails. Okay. And then when we get to your final paper, I will show you how to turn those headings into subheadings. So we're not done yet. All right, there's a reason for the madness, but if you will please just follow my lead, I will get you to the finish line, okay? I have a very high success rate of doing this, and it usually takes people halfway through the course and they finally give. And once they realize what it is that they need to get done, the light bulb goes on. I want you to turn the light bulb on now. Follow my lead and you will get to that finish line, okay? That is my job and that is what your job is, and we are going to be just fine. I'm going to get you there, okay? So I am an English guru. I even teach English as a foreign language. So I believe in getting it right. Communication is the first thing that breaks down in any situation. Let's not break it down. Let's enhance it. So that's what we're going to be looking at. This course is very reading and writing intensive. You have your due dates. They're there for a reason. Put your due date in your calendar. Work backwards. It's called deductive reasoning. Work backwards. Figure out what it is that you need to do along the way. Okay, you know that milestone 1 is due in module 2. Well, come Monday, guess what? I'm going to start piece parting it out to you as the week progresses. Okay, so you know how to get in touch with me? By email or call. If you call me, probably 99% of the time you're going to have to leave a voicemail, but I have returned every phone call since I've been teaching for 9 years now. I have never not returned a phone call. I figure if you call me, there's a reason, and I do call back. I literally talk to almost all my students all the time. I'm always on the phone. I'm always talking. So if you haven't noticed. Okay, so be aware of the due dates. If you know you've got stuff coming up and you've got a busy schedule and this term is the worst term of all terms, everything in your life's going on, you know you got stuff coming up. So plan accordingly, okay? It's just like work. That's what we do. Other than that, I think we're pretty much good to go. Make sure that you've got, that most of you have already posted in the discussion board. Make sure you respond to 2 classmates by Sunday night. It is very important, by the way, that you get that initial post in by Thursday night. And you only got like 4 discussion boards or something this term. That's it, because most of it's paper writing. But make sure that you get it, because it's like 10 points for you being on time. So don't throw those points away. Those points are on the table. Take it and run with it. Make me give them to you, okay? They're yours, so just grab them. So get that initial post in on time. Make sure you get your exam, your chapter tests done on time, everything. If you have questions about any of that, let me know. You also have a general question board in the discussion tab that you can use as well. Here is my pet peeve above all pet peeves. From Module 2 through Module 8, the words I, me, and my will never, ever be in your vocabulary again. He, she, they, or that, or this, that, what, this, what. Finish your thought process when you're writing. It's not about you, it's not about me, and it's not about my. Those 3 will never be in your vocabulary ever again, because this course is about things that are happening in real world events. This is happening now. This course isn't a history course. It is a current events course. That's what political science is. We can draw historical data for what happened in the past, obviously, but our main focus is what's happening here. The historical data comes in to be a part, not the whole argument, but to be a part of it because you want to be a solution to what's coming up. So you need to think about that, about your paper, is that you're not going to sit there and give me a historical event about what happened during the Reagan era with the fall of the Soviet Union and with Gorbachev and everything. No, what is the point? What is the issue? So it's not a history class, it's a current event class. Very different. Take part of, hey, this is what happened maybe in this one era or this one part of this one time frame, and it's still happening to this day because of A, B, C, and D. Move it forward, not backwards. We're moving forward because international relations is happening 24/7. Not last week, right now, as we speak. Okay, so in other words, it's not about you, it's not about me, and it's not about anybody else. It's about what is happening. It's about the players who are in the game. It's about the prime minister, whomever. It's about presidents. It's about, UN ambassadors. It's about delegates. It's about all these things. It's about the African Union coming together and the European Union trying to fight to stay alive because they're losing so much money right now. And with Brexit about ready to happen, that opens the gate. It opens the door for all these other countries to sit there and say, wait a minute. We're sinking because we have no money either. What's going on? If England can do it, we can do it too. And so this is what we're talking about. So it has nothing to do about I, me, and my. It's about the case that you present in your paper. You are going to be so, as a matter of fact, in your writing, that it's like pleading your case before a judge, and you're going, or pleading your case before the United Nations, and before all the any of the delegates and everything. It is that composed, and it's got that much passion and that much power in your writing. When you start writing in first person, you take that power away. Put the power in your writing and say, there's a problem, there's an issue. This is what needs to happen. This is what happened in the past. It didn't work. But if we could take some of that and put it with this other component that's sitting out here, this is what the end result would be. Now you've got a paper. That's what I'm going to work with you on in this class. Okay? So I hope that this is not intimidating. I am going to walk you through the process. You're going to get papers sent back to you. Be ready for it, because that's what the writing process is all about. It's about revision. About revision, and then I'll wrap this thing up, okay? You're going to hear me. You're going to see. I'm going to send your paper. I'm going to tell you to send your papers to Smart Thinking, and I fully mean it. I want Smart Thinking to look at your papers, which means you need to get your papers done ahead of time. Send them to Smart Thinking. Get them to rip it apart. Do not wear your heart on your sleeve. This is not the time or place for it. Put it out there to Smart Thinking. It's part of your program. You already pay for it, so use it. Get them to rip your paper apart, and I mean just go for it. Make their corrections, then send it to me. I want your best paper in that inbox, and not, oh, well, I just got to it 2 hours ago and here it is. No, this is a full-blown thought-thinking process. Get your paper done, send it to Smart Thinking, get it to me on the due date, and then I'm going to go through and do what I need to do, send it back to you. Then we go on to the next milestone, and we're going to keep building on it, one milestone to the next, till we get to that final paper. Okay? So work with me, and I will work with you, and I promise you that if you will follow my lead, I will get you to the end. Because that's what it's all about, is ending these 8 weeks as strong and as enthused, and just having that burn in your belly for wanting to learn more about international relations as it was for you to sign up for this course. And if you signed up for this course because it was the only thing that was left and you had to fill a requirement, that's okay. It's all about learning. And if you listen to any part of the TV, if you read anything on social media, you will see international relations right in front of you every second of every day. So I am going to end it there. My 20 minutes is almost up. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me. I always answer emails the following morning. So if you have an issue, you can call or text me. If you leave a message, I will call you back. But you're more than welcome to leave text messages on that cell phone number that is in my instructor label. Okay? Well, listen, you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and we are really going to hit the ball running on Monday morning. Thanks a lot. See you in Module 2. Bye-bye.